story we got from House Armed Services Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. It's good to have you on, Congressman. Okay, this report that Senator Mitch McConnell is backing off of the Senate border deal, talking about just going alone ahead with Ukraine aid. And we've got a senator telling The Hill the border deal is, quote, dead for now. Is that true? Voter polls show Americans say the border crisis ranks tops in their concerns. So why drop it now?
Well, Liz, I don't know, but if the Senate Republicans insist on that, they're going to be, their prospects for getting a majority come November may be dead on arrival. There's no way that if we don't have some kind of we need border security, and we passed H.R. 2 in the House, and some of the key components of that are taking the migrant protection protocols, better known as the Wait in Mexico policy, and reinstituting that. We have to have that, or we have nothing. And there's no way that that bill will pass the House. That deal will not pass the House without that in the agreement.
You can't have a border deal dead in the water. And we're hearing they're trying to blame Trump. The former president says he just wants to stop an historic border collapse. More than 40,000 criminal illegal aliens crossing and terrorists crossing. So why is this? Isn't this a no-brainer?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Anybody who wants to blame President Trump, let's look at the data. I mean, in FY 2017, his first year in office, there were only 300,000 illegal border encounters the entire year. Joe Biden had that last month in December. So it's literally, you could make an argument, it's 12 times worse now. So President Trump reduced a flood to a trickle, and then Joe Biden opened up the floodgates. So we have to. I mean, we had never seen a month where we had 300,000 illegal border crossings. You know, Liz, it's crazy.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. The senators, including Ted Cruz, saying this Senate deal would have enshrined record high levels of illegal immigration, letting the number coming in to the country on a daily basis twice as high as during the Obama era. Let's listen to the senators speak out against this. Watch.
There's nothing about the current border surge that is the inexorable result of inadequate legislation on the books. Nothing. The president has more than enough tools at his disposal to stop it.
This supplemental bill is a kamikaze plane in a box canyon with no exit, headed for a train wreck.
Part of my problem with the 4,000 threshold that's discretionary, and then the 5,000 that's mandatory shutting down the border. And my first question on that is, well, how are you going to do that?
All I hear about this deal, it's just a way to normalize 5,000 people coming over the border illegally every year. There's no way I'm going to vote for that.
We need to do something on the border. We need to do something on the border. Forget the politics. It's an open, bleeding wound. I don't know anything about what they're doing. I mean, one of the gentlemen under the interstate living in a refrigerator box knows more about it than I do.
That's from Senator Kennedy. You know, so Senator Josh Hawley sends a letter to DHS Secretary Mayorkas saying the record number of gotaways outnumbers the combined populations of Kansas City and St. Louis last year. And we're supposed to be okay with that? We're supposed to be okay with nearly 2 million gotaways under President Biden coming in unvetted? We don't know who they are?
No, I mean, we had in the last two administrations, in the first 3 years, they had just about 1.6 million illegal encounters. And this administration's had 8.5 million. So the senators that you just showed those clips on, Liz, were making perfect sense, common sense, in things that we need. This isn't even a border crisis anymore. It's a border cataclysm. So this is something that we need to take the lead on, because Joe Biden has the authority. He has the executive authority right now to fix this problem. I went to the border a few weeks ago, and they told me that if he just instituted the Wait in Mexico policy, these numbers would be reduced by 70%. Yeah. He refuses to do so, and we need to hold him accountable at the ballot box.
Let's move down to Texas. This is what's happening in Texas. The Texas governor, Greg Abbott, what he's basically saying is, there's an invasion. The state has a right to defend itself against an invasion. We hear Democrat lawmakers saying the White House should, seize control of the Texas National Guard. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, is trying to blame Republicans on this. People out there saying, no way, we don't believe any of what the Democrats are saying. We got 24 Republican governors supporting Texas here. Now, the Governor Abbott, he's directly talking to the Supreme Court. He put out a statement saying the Biden White House is breaking the law, the federal law, not protecting the border. Texas has a constitutional right to self-defense against an invasion. But, Congressman, this big point. The governor says the Biden White House is actually incentivizing border crossers to come illegally and possibly drown in the process. That the federal government, the White House, is saying, yeah, cut the razor wire fencing at the border. But what Texas is saying, go to the 28 legal points of entry. What the Biden White House is doing is incentivizing illegal entry, crossing over rivers, and they could drown. So is the Supreme Court going to weigh all this in the balance? What do you think?
Well, I certainly hope so, because Joe Biden is clearly, his lawlessness has led to this. He has violated his constitutional oath. He's supposed to protect the states, and the federal government has abdicated that responsibility to the Mexican drug cartels. It's enshrined in the Constitution. So I'm glad the governor has made this stand, and I stand right by him, and we must push back.
You know, I'll tell you something, we're going to get into it later in the show. A convoy of truckers are going to head to the border states to rally and protest against what the Biden White House has been doing. Congressman Fallon, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's good to see you.
Thanks, Liz. God bless.